are in the second half of August and also as well the second half of the year. And I'm so excited to share with you what I have to share with you today. I love this particular quote that I came across that I thought was so powerful. You see, an inch of movement is better than a mile of intentions. Basically, what I'm encouraging you to do is keep going. You know, another man put it this way: if you're going to travel 1,000 miles, the thought of that can overwhelm you. But when you decide to just start walking or start driving, the journey becomes an adventure in itself. I just want to remind you today that consistency is an important part of our lives. You know, it's important to know this. I came across this illustration today that kind of emphasizes that. It's, you know, if you pour water on a rock, nothing happens. But if you drop uh, a drop of water on a rock every single day, sooner or later, with time, that particular drop of water will create a hole in that rock. That means that consistency is more important than intensity, and movement is better than a mile of, basic intentions. There's a lot of people out there, for example, have great intentions. Let me use this illustration. Years ago, I was involved in a choir. Now, when we called the choir together, there was about 30 or 40 people that were joining that choir. They wanted to be part of a choir. But then they found out that it takes hard work, consistency, reliability, and dependability to basically make a choir. You have to show up every single practice, even though you want to be in the community situation. Like every year where I was living at the time, there was a great community sing along, and different choirs from the area would gather together and they would have a night of, singing and choir presentations. It was wonderful. Well, our choir wanted to be part of that. But the 30 or 40 people over the next 2 or 3 weeks, as we were preparing for this community celebration, the numbers basically dropped off. Why? Because people found out that to, have a good choir, it takes practice and time. Well, by the time the community event started, we had about 12 people in the choir. And that little exercise taught me that people are long on intention, long on talk, but short on delivery. You see, a lot of people are rather selfish. They would not admit that. They would not, yeah, agree with that, but it shows by what they do. And so if someone says, hey, I'm going to do something, and yet they don't do it, it shows that they're long on talk and short on delivery. My simple exhortation for you today is simply do what you say you're going to do. You know, John Maxwell is a well known motivational coach, and he says the choices and decisions that we make day by day are going to make us successful or unsuccessful. If you choose today to procrastinate, you say, okay, I'm going to put off today what I should be doing because maybe tomorrow is going to be better. Before you know it, you know what? Days have gone by, months have gone by, and the thing still leaves or is inconsistent. You know, these have these old redneck jokes. And one of the redneck jokes that Jeff Foxworthy says is, you know, you're a redneck when you cut the grass and you find a car. Well, I used to live in the north. And what was very interesting, there was this beautiful area called the Dene Village. Now, it was beautiful in the wintertime because they got huge amounts of snow. And so I would love to go to the Dene Village in, of course, the wintertime because it was all covered in snow. But when you went in the summertime, you saw all the different things that were buried by the snow. You say to yourself, this is not a place I want to be when it's the summertime. You see, people, at least a few of the people in that village, they just basically put their old stuff outside their house, and never got around to actually taking it to the local dump, which meant a little bit of activity and also a little bit of action. And there's a lot of people out there that are long on talk. Oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But then all of a sudden, they find something else a little more exciting and a little more, to their liking. And that isn't going to get you anywhere to do anything. It's your daily choices and your daily actions that is going to decide how successful you are or how unsuccessful you are. Now, there's a lot of difference between an employer and an employee. Let me explain. An employer has risked everything. They put everything on the line. They know that they have a payroll that needs to be, of course, covered. The employee, they just show up 9 to 5, and at 5 o'clock, they go home. They expect a paycheck. They haven't put any risk into the business. They haven't invested in the business except their time and their talent. An employer doesn't go home at 5 o'clock. They are the ones that do the books. They are the ones that do the ordering of the different material. They are the ones that, of course, have risked everything, but they've also reaped the benefits of that business because they may have a bigger home. They may have a larger car, or they may not, depending on how much risk they put into the business. One person put it this way: if you are starting a business, you should expect at least 5 years where you're not going to take home a paycheck. But after the 5 years, you're going to reap the benefits of that business. The whole aspect is, of course, an inch of movement is better than a mile of intentions. You gotta keep going. You've got to be consistent. You've got to make the choice every single day that you're going to show up. I came across a quote a little while ago, and it says, rule number 1, never give up. Rule number 2, don't ever forget rule number 1. It takes hard work to be, of course, successful. It's intention and intensity together that's going to make it happen. Lots of people have great intentions, but they don't want to put the work into being successful. And I know that there are people out there that today are going to go to the lottery store. Right now, where I live, okay, there is something we call, of course, not just Lotto 649, but Lotto Max. And right now, Lotto Max is $50 million. So there's going to be all kinds of people that are going to go into the lottery store with this intention: I'm going to win the big one. And when I win the big one, everything is going to change. No, it is not. Did you know that 95% of those who win the big one within 2 or 3 or 4 years will find themselves actually poorer than when they started? Why? Because they don't know what to do with the riches. They don't know that they should invest it. They don't know that they should, keep it for the future. They've been given a gift, but they don't use the gift wisely. I'll give you a perfect example. Years ago, I lived in a northern city called Yellowknife, and there was a guy who was from the street who had won $500,000. He won the big one. And so what did he do? A couple of days later, he went down to the big city and he spent it all. About 3 months later, I see him sitting in the local library, and I said, "Hey, you're back in town." And he said, "Yep." I said, "Well, how did things go?" Well, he says, "I'm broke." I said, you spent $500,000 in 3 months? He said, yeah, but what a time. I thought, okay, all right. Maybe he had a different attitude. But he took $500,000 in the 80s and spent it like water. And 3 months later, he's back in town living the same lifestyle that he was before he won the big one. So intensity is good, but consistency beats intention and intensity every single time. So when you get up today, remember this: start your day off with the intention of getting something done, with the desire to be successful. And on the way, be reliable, dependable, and consistent. That is going to make you successful in life. Those who are successful know that it's decision after decision, choice after choice, little choices, big choices. Either way, it's consistency that is going to get you somewhere. It's not intensity. Having wishful thinking and desires won't get anything done until you put the shoulder to the plow and begin to go. That's what's important. That's why an inch of movement is better than a mile of intensity or intentions. You gotta keep going. I know that there are days where you don't feel like it. I know that there are days that you wish you could stay in bed. In about 2 weeks, I am going to start driving school bus again. I've been enjoying my summer, but what's going to be very important to those children that I'm picking up is that I am there at the right time. And every day I drive them to school and I drive them home. That is my job. That is what I was hired to do. I can't get up on a Monday morning and say, you know what, I don't feel like driving my bus today. I won't get a paycheck. I will end up being fired. Why? Because I said that I was going to sign up and do something. I know that those children need me to be there at the right time, picking them up and driving them to school. And then after school, picking them up and driving them home. That is what and there are days where I get up and I don't feel like doing this, but because I made a contract with the bus company and I made a commitment that every single day I would pick those children up at the right time. On next Monday, I'm going to have to drive my route and I'm going to have to time out how long it takes me to get from place to place. I will actually get up at my normal time that I would do when I drive my bus. And then I will drive the route and I will be able to time out what time I'm going to be there so that I can tell each of the parents and the children what time I'm going to be there. And those parents and those children expect me to be there. And that is consistency, that is dependability and reliability. I may not some morning feel like it, but because I made the commitment, because I made the choice, guess what? I need to be there. And when you say you're going to do something, you've got to follow through. Otherwise, there's going to be consequences. There's always consequences to the choices that we make. When you someday don't feel like going to work and you say, I'm not going to go to work today, guess what? You're going to lose your job unless you can come up with some great excuse. I know that there are times where we can't fulfill what it is we'd like to do. But if we have, the ability, we should do it. It's choices that we make every single day. People are relying on us. People will believe in us when we follow through with what we say we are going to do. This is a little piece of advice for parents. If you have children and you promise that you're going to do something with them, follow through. The reason why is because every time you don't follow through, that child trusts you less and also as well have less expectations of you. And they learn also from you the very thing that you don't want them to learn. And that is simply this, that you can't trust people. Your children should be able to see consistency, reliability in your life, just like people that you care for need to see that as well. And it's the simple choices that we make every single day that make all the difference. I love that quote. An inch of movement is better than a mile of intentions. Keep going. Remember that one quote I gave you. Rule number one, never give up. Rule number two, never forget rule number one. So that's what I have to share with you today. And thank you so much for spending time with me. My name is Robert Dean Steele, and this, of course, is YouTube Live. Listen, if you like what you're hearing and seeing, please press the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I thank all the people who daily check out my different videos that I present. Every day, I also do YouTube Shorts. That means that every day I give a series of different videos that are designed to encourage you, designed to, of course, give you practical things to think about every single day. And they're always under a minute or thereabouts. So check those out as well. My name is Robert Dean Steele. Thank you for joining me today. Have yourself a great and godly day.